Kaveh Guilanpour is Vice President for International Strategies at the Centre for Climate and Energy Solutions. Kaveh, welcome, good to see you. Well, look, you're there. What are you hearing, deal or no deal?
Well, I think you've described it very well there, that the European Union and other donor countries upped their initial offer of 250 billion to 300. But the developing countries as a bloc, the G77 and China, came forward with a counter demand that was 500 billion. And then what we had was that the least developed countries and the islands walked out because they were not willing to engage on the basis of the text that was put on the table, citing the fact that they hadn't really been involved in its preparation. So at the moment, we're in a situation where the COP presidency is undertaking informal consultations with the various group chairs to get things back on track.
What has COP29 achieved if this falls apart?
Well, the two main deliverables that we were really expecting for this COP was, one, a deal on climate finance, which is still on the table. There's still some time to rescue that. And also an agreement to finally operationalize the carbon market provisions of the Paris Agreement. That second part has essentially more or less reached a consensus, but that still needs to be adopted in the final plenary, and often everything is taken as a package. So we'll wait to see whether that part of COP29 does succeed.
Are you optimistic?
Things are looking difficult at the moment. I have to say, this morning I was more optimistic than I am now. We are running out of time. There's a question as to whether there will be a quorum of parties present to actually take a decision, but it's still possible to get this deal back on the table and get it done.
Does it matter if it fails?
I think it does matter, because the geopolitical conditions for a deal probably won't be better in a year's time, when Brazil will be hosting the COP30 in Belém. So I think it is important to get this deal on finance over the line, in particular because all countries are expected to come forward with new climate targets early next year, and without climate finance, developing countries will be in a very difficult position to raise their ambition.
You talk about the changing geopolitical circumstances. I mean, is there any point in having a COP30 with Mr. Trump in the White House?
Well, I think we'll have to see what the new administration says and plans to do in terms of engaging on international climate. We know, of course, that the last President Trump administration did pull out of the Paris Agreement, but the rest of the world did forge on. The reality is that the science is clear, and it's not going to change as a result of an election outcome. We are in trouble of staying within the 1.5 degree limit. But on the other hand, the sort of deployment and acceleration of renewable energies that we're seeing, including in countries like China, is quite extraordinary and is unstoppable. So the challenge remains, but so does the economic opportunity.
Kaveh Guilanpour, Vice President for International Strategies at the Centre for Climate and Energy Solutions. Thank you very much for coming on the programme.
Thank you.